Why Ian Beck turned down doing the illustrations for Quadrophenia by The Who. I'm John Beaudin from Rocky Stream Music. As we've mentioned in this series before, Ian Beck has been fruitful. He's been very prolific. He's done a lot of novels, and he's done a lot of different media as far as illustrations for, he's illustrated book covers for other people's books, including his own. But he'll always be best remembered for doing the iconic cover of Elton John's Goodbye Old Brick Road from 1973. But interestingly, he turned down another classic album released the same month in 1973, The Who's Quadrophenia. We're going to get some background on how he started, and then he'll let you know about The Who. I want to go back. What was it when...
Yes.
Well, let's talk about little Ian. At what point did you know this was going to be your vocation? Were you always drawing?
Yes. Yeah, so when I was at school, I grew up in a kind of working class household, no books, no interest in art from my parents. My father was a milkman, delivered milk on doorsteps, and we had no money. And but I was always noticing drawings in magazines and advertising, commercial art, if you like. And there was a periodical that came into the house every week, which was the Radio Times, which was a TV listings thing that the BBC published. And they commissioned very interesting illustrators to illustrate some of the radio listings, program listings. So little black and white drawings by top people. And I pored over these. I was obsessed with them. And when I was about 13, I wrote a letter to the Radio Times because I imagined there was such a thing as a day job, that you would sit in an office at the Radio Times, having gone in with your umbrella and a bowler hat, put those on a peg, sat down and started making drawings for them. That was my naive, I had no idea about the freelance world or all that sort of thing. And they wrote a polite letter back saying you need to go to art college, etc., which I then duly did. I'd been to Saturday morning painting classes at my local art college in Brighton, where I grew up. And I then ended up going full-time to the art school when I was just 16, by 1 month, literally, so quite young. And I spent 5 happy years there at Brighton Art School. That was the making of me in a sense. That was my liberation. It was great. And I moved to London in the late 60s and was freelance ever since. So the Elton thing came along as part of a general, freelance career. I did several other covers for various people. I was asked to do visuals. At the same year, I was asked to do visuals for Quadrophenia by The Who, but I was too busy.
Are you serious?
No, I'm serious. I was too busy. They wanted a concept for this split personality 4 ways thing, and they were getting people to do some rough designs, and I said, I can't, I've got too much to do. So I didn't do it. I didn't work on it, which is bizarre.
Well,
I laugh now.
But everyone has a few of those, no matter what career exactly. You have, right?
Exactly.
How familiar were you with Elton John's music when you did that?
I'd seen him perform very early on at a concert, a BBC concert, probably in '71, which one of his early concerts. So I'd seen him do that, and a good friend of mine, had his first album with the Elton John with his face on. That. Is that the one? Yeah, so he had that.
The blue one was Empty Sky, and then the self-titled one was the first for North America.
Self-titled.
Yeah.
Self-titled one. He had that one. And I liked that, and I thought not much more about it. I remember Tumbleweed Connection coming out, liking the cover of that. And then, as I say, I was, dragged into the office and forced to make a cover for him. So I had to pay attention. But I particularly like Benny and the Jets. Benny and the Jets, I love that. I absolutely still love that track. I think it's great song.
As you've seen with the B-roll that's playing while Ian was talking, he's a prolific author and, of course, an illustrator, and has been from way back when, and he's still working. We'll have one more from our conversation with Ian Beck coming up next week. Make sure you comment on our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. And remember, pick up a t-shirt or a mug. Partial proceeds goes to St. Jude's Hospital. Links in the description of this video. I'm John Beaudin from Rocky Stream Music.